Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Matt.
And I'm Jess Moyen. This is Good Morning LaLa Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Twitch.
That's right. It's hashtag Thought Thursday. We're going to talk about how to be unshakable and unstoppable in the face of all of life. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, have some badass friends, and lots of coffee.
Love that. Unshakable. I love when Jess does the intro there, right? It's all gassed up. I like that, Jess.
No teleprompter either. There you go. Well, I'm so excited to welcome to the show our very special guest this morning. Hello, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Hey. They are unshakable.
Yes, they are.
Very tame.
They've had lots of shakes.
Well, please, here on Good Morning LaLa Land, we like to know how you start your day. What is one thing you do to make sure you are unshakable? Take a minute, introduce yourself, and tell me how you're unshakable today.
Hi, I'm Gloria, and one thing that I do in the morning that makes me unshakable is to move in the morning. So I definitely move.
Moving is
Fantastic.
That's good.
Shake it off sometimes. That's the way to be unshakable. Shake it off.
Turn up that T-Swift right now. Well, thank you so much. We're excited to learn more about you. Later in the show. We've got Good Morning, Grant is in the house. Good morning, Grant. Take that mic. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you make your morning unshakable.
Sure. Well, I consider myself reasonably shakeable for what it's worth, but I would say I pretty much always have a peanut butter-based smoothie with just a lot of calories, and I live embarrassingly close to my office in Seattle, Capitol Hill, so I usually walk our Black Lab the opposite direction for about a half mile and then turn around and go through Seattle U campus, and I'm at the office. So I'm usually less shakeable by the time I arrive, I would say.
Calories help. Calories help you remain
Lots of
stable,
peanut
settled,
butter.
and
I put it on
unshakable.
everything. Peanut butter is the key.
Oh, and I am such a peanut butter freak, too. Oh, love it. Good morning. Mr. Ryan O'Quinn is in the house. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm great, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you for being here today. So we know, you are an unshakable husband, unshakable father. What is your secret?
Well, I don't know if I'm unshakable, but I will say with 3 kids under 11, ages 7, 9, and 11, I try as best I can to get up the first time the alarm goes off. Because if I'm 30 seconds late, anybody knows if you've ever had small kids, arguably the craziest time of your day is trying to get out the door in the morning time, packing the lunches and 3 kids going to 2 different schools. And so if we skip a beat or we're 60 seconds off, it throws everything off. So we try to slap each other awake the first time the alarm goes off.
Well, I'm glad you actually made it out that door this morning.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hike, but we made it.
Well, Blitz is in the house. He's an award-winning filmmaker and musician, one of the freshest directors, supposedly, on the scene, according to Ava DuVernay. Good morning, Blitz.
Thank you guys for having me. Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about how do you start your day so you make sure you are unshakable?
Man, shakeable, unshakable. I mean, that's hard. I read. I have a small book of affirmations, It's like a really tiny pocket book. It goes everywhere with me. And I always just flip through. Usually I read the shortest paragraphs just so I don't, overread. But just like a small affirmation, just something to get me up, something to get me going, something to get my head clear and straight before I get going. Because if I don't, then my day gets off course really quickly.
Excellent.
Love a little affirmation in my life. That's
For
wonderful.
sure.
Good morning. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning is in the house. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, we are so excited to have the Wing Girl
Yes.
here this morning with us. So tell us a little bit about how you start your day.
Well, my morning starts off very shaky because my 2-year-old son screams out, "Mommy, come get me!" And that wakes me up and jolts me. And as soon as I walk into the room and see his smile, I calm down, and then we go downstairs and have a bit of a dance party. So instead of having my mind shaking like crazy, my body shakes, which really helps.
There you go. Love that. It's a natural alarm clock there with the little one.
Yes, not the best alarm clock, but yes, a natural alarm clock.
Well, PR from the Saddle is in the house. Good morning, Tara. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Well, thank you. So how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
So I start every single day with a morning ritual, and it's very much focused around gratitude. It sort of sets my mind and my intention for the day. I do a lot of work with my vision board and around affirmations, and I always incorporate a meditation into my day just to ensure that I am absolutely ready for anything that the day can throw at me, and that my mind is in the best possible place to succeed.
Nothing
Smart
better
woman.
than the English countryside being on right too. I'm very jealous. I think we have a trip planned. Good morning, LaLa goes to England. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show. And there's some other guests that are arriving a little late, going to slide in. So we'll let you know who's going to be here in a little bit.
It's a good thing we have unlimited space here.
It is LaLa land after all.
All right. So what's going on, Rob?
What's going
We
on?
want the update. We always want some good story. I'm waiting for him to come in with a really juicy story. We're waiting.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for 16 months.
Yeah, have you?
No.
Yeah, nothing yet, huh? I know, it's tough.
He's
It's,
too stable. He's too unshakable.
Well, I like I will be honest, I love peace. And you eventually discover how priceless peace is when you experience so much conflict.
But
and
you
chaos.
probably have some good stories of people who definitely are not in peace.
That's every single client I have. That's why they call.
And the stories.
Oh my gosh, so many. I mean, and it's interesting because I'd say at the end of the day, it seems like there are infinite number of problems in the world, but there's always, for me, a finite number of solutions, right? And so that most everybody's looking for peace, love, happiness, and true abundance, right?
But do you think everyone really actually wants peace, honestly?
They do. They don't always realize they want peace. But, life is the greatest teacher of all. So it's like Eckhart Tolle says, if you haven't had enough suffering, you can always get more.
This is
and
true.
eventually you'll be drawn and led to wanting peace at a deeper way.
Unlimited fear and suffering.
Yeah.
In this
I'm a
life.
Gemini, so I operate in both worlds.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite
Jess.
well.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out, I'm peaceful, all at the same time.
Right?
Does it feel schizophrenic?
No, not at all. I've never known anything different.
Yeah, because you're fully committed to the role. When you're in the crazy mode, you're fully committed to crazy, and then when you're peaceful, you're fully committed to peaceful.
No, it happens all at the same time. See, I don't think you can
know how that
understand
works.
unless you're a Gemini like me. You're just a pretty hot mess always. You thrive in chaos.
That's
Well, you
hilarious.
never look like a hot mess.
Oh,
Just
well,
hot.
I gotta say though, yesterday I had one of those moments where I realized like my unshakability has transformed. So I get this call yesterday. I know you guys know I've been in I invest in this green tech company, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. So it was a huge surprise. But I got a call yesterday that the CEO was indicted, which is not a good thing.
No.
Not a good thing, like
Not so
at
much.
all. And I'm sitting on the call, and I'm like, okay, this could potentially mean that you lose everything to your name, pretty much. And I just had this moment, and I was like, no matter what, I don't know if it's totally done, if it's going to be, saved, whatever it is, but I had to make a decision. I'm on the call, and I'm like, okay, take a breath, know the truth. And it was like instantaneous, like, I'm not my money, I'm not my status, I'm not my title, I'm not any of these things. I can always innovate, I can always create. And I hung up the phone, and my son immediately called, like the phone rang right away. And it was my son. I was like, okay. He goes, Mom, did you get the email? I go, I just got off the phone with them. And he goes, how are you? And I go, and I started crying, but it wasn't tears of sadness. It was like tears of joy. I was like, I'm good. Like, I get that, like, we're not any of this stuff, and life is for development. Yeah. And like I said, I don't know what I just ask one thing of you, that no matter what you do, that you do what you love to do. Because money can come and go. Businesses can come and go, and we're here to develop, and that's what I know. And it's like you just got to release and go. I can't control it.
Totally.
It's in the universe's hand. If the universe wants that money to go somewhere else and have new flow of energy, then so be it.
100%. Love that.
There's
Erin.
room in my
Yes.
bank account for it.
Yes.
I'll share it right back with you.
Always open to receiving. I love that.
But
so
it's
true.
a litmus test.
Yeah.
What do you do when something really gnarly comes through your life, and how do you rebound? How fast?
It's 100% true how quickly you can pivot, right? That's what cognitive agility and emotional regulation is such a big deal, because it's the ability to pivot from something that's uncomfortable to something that's increasingly comfortable, successful, profitable, productive. So that's everything. I love that. There's a story about Aldous Huxley, the author, whose house burnt down, and he was being interviewed, and they say, how do you feel? And he said, oh, I feel free. That's where you want to get.
That's where you want to go.
You love things, and you love things as you have them, and you appreciate them while you have them, but you're not attached to any of it. That's the challenge. And it doesn't have to be just things, but also thoughts and emotions.
Well, exactly. It makes your community unshakable, speaking of which.
Yes.
I was at Craig's the other night on Monday, and I saw Craig and Chef Kirsten, and they were gearing up to head to New York to be on the Today Show. Ooh. So we have a special clip of their appearance on the Today Show. Let's take a look.
It was 25% vegan, plant-based items, and I think more restaurants are going to that.
And we're going to get to your ice cream, your vegan ice cream before we
that led to our product, which is Craig's Vegan Ice Cream, and there's a demand for non-dairy ice cream. As a matter of fact, we're going into our first supermarket today, Air One in Los Angeles. Right. So.
This you're going to go crazy for. Your little boy, Aiden.
Yeah, I'm still working on stuff.
During commercial, we'll go to that.
Want some ice cream?
He's an icon.
Right?
I mean, Craig's in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, paparazzi is outside all evening long.
Because Jez is there every day.
I know.
You got a assigned seat now. You got a assigned seat?
Well, kind of, yeah. And I have been caught by those paparazzi once in a while. My mom thinks I've made it, which is just like, I saw that paparazzi picture. You're going somewhere. And I thought, no, I just did something very embarrassing. But anyway, you know, we love Craig's, and we're so excited for Craig and Chef Kirsten in the launch of Craig's vegan ice cream. It's available today. Their first supermarket, Erewhon, here in Los Angeles. You can also order the ice cream at craigsvegan.com. So we're just so grateful again to be welcomed and support the Craig's community.
Yeah, I love that. If there's one place you want to be in LA, it's Erewhon. It's the ish. It's the ish.
Yeah,
it is.
if you want to go find some singles,
For that
they have to have money because it's so expensive, that grocery store.
That's true.
So they're healthy, they're wealthy,
That's true. You go shopping for ice cream or shopping for people, I guess, huh?
Totally. Anyway, let's take a break because we have a plethora of amazing guests today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to your home for talk. I'm Jezza Moyer, and this is Ever Talk TV, America's first live streaming video talk show platform. This week on Ever Talk, our shows were filled with positivity, enlightenment, Insta fame, Insta scandals, and binge-worthy conversations. Let's take a look.
Today I'm officially coming out of the closet as a mother. I've never publicly announced it. I've been a model for 15 years, and now I'm finally letting people know I have 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old son, and my 13-year-old son will be 14 in another month and a half. You know, obviously explaining that I have a 16-year-old, people are gonna be like, wait, how old are you? And I'm under 40, I'm 36. Okay, let's just get that out there.
Oh, wow.
Coming out of the closet again.
You came out twice already today.
I know, oh my gosh.
I hope that our viewers are watching this to realize that when you have a passion, and when it pays the bills and you can live a good life and provide for your children, there should be no shame in what you do.
Right, I agree.
So in other news, for those that don't yet know, Kelly's having a baby. Yay! Hiding it so well, by the way. You know, she's so disgustingly slim even when pregnant.
God
Just
bless you.
unfair. But I'm guessing that everything that you learn and your journey through HEAL has had some sort of impact on you becoming a mama.
I've always had this awe and kind of curiosity about how intelligent the human body is.
Okay.
But now I'm just like living in this awe, like I'm creating this human being inside of me. It's wild.
It's crazy.
And to really try, like my women's bodies are designed to do this.
Would you want to do a home birth as well, or?
Yeah.
I thought with the squeal that was going to be, oh no. Wow.
I do. I
feel like that's brave.
It is brave.
Wow.
I admire many people that, you know, I get through birth, whatever way you want to do it. There's no judgment.
I was at a casino night last night.
Yeah.
We went to celebrate with Maria Conchita Alonso. We have a special look at some of the video from the event last night.
Than 18 animal foundations. My organization is called VEE Fauna, which means Venezuela Endorses Fauna. It's not a non-profit. So I got together, I united with one that has been a non-profit for 11 years. It's called Luchemos por la Vida, Fight for Life. They have an orphanage where many of their kids have HIV. I thank you very, very much for your contribution, because alone we can't do it.
She's such a love.
Yeah, our love and light to Maria Conchita and all the orphanages that she's supporting in Venezuela. You know, it's always great when Hollywood comes together and has a heart and gives back. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jezza Moyer, and we'll see you next time. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La, and we're so excited to have Marnie, the wing girl, in the house to give it to us straight today.
I've been looking for a wing girl. I'm not gonna lie.
Really, I would be your wing girl. I will do it. I actually work with mainly men.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I've been a wing girl for 14 years, and I started off by doing live outings with people, which was kind of shady back then, actually.
What do you mean a live outing? Like a fake date?
Kind of. So actually what I would do is I would go out with guys that I would meet on Craigslist. That's what it was 14 years ago.
That is so scary.
Oh. Yes, because I would advertise myself as a wing girl, and then I'd go out and I'd pick up women for them. I'd see who was available, and then I'd help them start conversations and facilitate the conversation so that they looked as good as possible. That was my job.
I love how real she's being.
Yes.
She's not like making this fluffy story.
That's what I was doing. It was really, honestly, it was so much fun. And then I realized, maybe this is a little bit dangerous. And then my parents were like, oh, great, we sent you to LA to become an escort. That's what you're doing right now. I'm like, I'm actually doing something good. And the thing is, a lot of people couldn't understand what I was doing until I had a lot of media around me and I could explain that I was actually helping these men build up their confidence because I was giving them the tools, the skill sets, and also the know-how of how to actually do this on their own. And then about 6 months in, I discovered that I could do what I was doing online and create systems for guys that would give them this information without me actually having to physically be there.
So what does it mean to be, what are the steps to being a wing woman or wing man? Like how do you facilitate
It's really just being
that?
ego-free. So it's not about me, it's about this person who I'm trying to lift up and provide confidence to and just make them aware of how wonderful they are.
But there is something very special about you because you see in them maybe what they can't offer to women naturally.
Yes.
You bring that out in them. They get over the Mr. Nice Guy and they become a man that a woman actually wants to date.
Absolutely, that's 100% it. It's funny, I had this client yesterday who wrote to me and said, you know what, I find it really challenging because I have this weird background. I grew up in the jungle because my parents were like wildlife experts. I live in a treehouse. I like all of these really amazing things. And he's like, well, what do I talk to women about? I'm like, Dad, you live in a treehouse. You grew up in the jungle. Like, how absolutely amazing is that? And so many men think that if they're not the typical, you know, really good looking with abs of steel, with a job in finance, that they're uninteresting or unattractive to women. So I help them realize what is attractive about them and make them comfortable with being themselves, which most of the things I teach them are things that I've had to learn about myself. So it's really interesting.
So Rob, would you prefer a woman or a man, wing man or wing woman?
No preference in terms of gender, just preference in terms of personality traits, probably. You know, yeah. I mean, I love your approach. I think it's just fascinating, and I find that most men really do, of course, struggle with being one, authentic, and two, confident in their authenticity, right? And so what tips and tricks do you offer guys to sort of get around that? If they don't have you there with them and they're out on a date, or maybe they're just networking, what would you encourage guys to do so they can be authentic but also confident?
I love Amy Cuddy's Superman pose. I think it's the easiest way to gain some confidence. But other things that I advise them to do is what I do for myself, where I have a rubber band around my wrist, and if I'm nervous, I start snapping it on my wrist. It gets me back into my body, out of my head, and triggers me to pay attention to the person in front of me. I mean, I have a whole bunch of exercises that I give to people, but really what I tell them to do is push themselves out of their comfort zone every single day. So if you're having issues being comfortable in front of somebody, try doing, like if you're in the elevator, try singing a song in the elevator while other people are in there and just not caring whether or not they think it's weird.
Good luck with that one.
Little things that talking to a very attractive woman won't seem as daunting for you if you're used to putting yourself through these uncomfortable situations.
So I have a question for you on the other end of the spectrum. As a woman, how would I become more approachable in a situation where maybe I'm in public and I want that guy to be able to feel comfortable to come talk to me?
Smile. It's
huge.
The biggest thing.
Love that.
Like, men do not understand subtle signals. They need large, overt signals. I did this. I know, you're just like, I'm interested in you. No, I did this event in New York about 8 years ago, and my friend invited me to come speak for all of these women. And I was like, I don't talk to women. I don't know what I would say. I don't really know if I have advice for them. And she's like, trust me, you know more than you think because of all the men that you work with. So I went there and I started talking, and all of these women were very into what I was saying, but there was two that were sitting like this, watching me the entire time, and I just became so fixated on them, and I kept thinking, they don't like me, they don't like what I'm saying. So my speech was over, and people came up to me and said, thank you, and then one of the women came up and said, I love what you had to say. I thought it was fantastic, and it was really helpful for me. And I said, can I just do something to you for 2 seconds? Do you mind if I touch you? And she goes, sure. And I took her arms, and I put them down by her side, I put her shoulders back, and I said, can you please smile for me? And when she did that, she just lit up, and I was like, this is what you have to show to men, because you're not realizing that this is very, you know, off-putting to other people, and it means you don't want people to come into your space. And she's like, I didn't realize I was doing that. So it's a big thing. So really just smiling and maybe saying,
So
Like, hi.
important, so important. So tell people where they can work with you, where they can find you.
Oh, they can go to wingirlmethod.com, or they can listen to my podcast, which is called Ask Women, which Robert has been on.
Fantastic.
It has been
Oh, nice.
fantastic.
It was
People
so
are
much
loving
fun.
what he has to say.
That was so much fun, though.
Yeah, so much fun.
I love that.
Well, thank you, Marty.
Yep,
we
thank
so
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank
and your
you.
life. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in Good Morning La La Land. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jez Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network. EverTalk is a platform that offers insight, inspiration, and thought-provoking conversations on positivity, wellness, Insta-fame, and empowerment, all while celebrating the trials and triumphs of those who are truly igniting a change in the world.
I was really surprised and I was really thankful for how well it was received.
That's where your supernatural powers come on. That's where the magic happens. That's where you live heaven on earth.
I was left to research everything on my own because I'm like, nothing else outside of me is helping me right now. I have to figure this out.
When we want folks to be good teammates or to be leaders, you confront behavior, you don't confront personalities.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars. New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop.
We have a universal sign to say it's okay to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like the universe is saying, please chill out a little bit, you know? So
Right.
we need to listen to that.
Jessalyn, you are absolutely beautiful, and you don't have to try at all. It's like I walked in this morning, you're the first person I met, I went, she is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And
Tell me more.
As you said, pick up the phone, like turn that text, before you turn it into a date, let's turn it into a phone call.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars. New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop. EverTalk is #community powered, and we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Today we have Ryan O'Quinn in the house. He's a actor, comedian, producer, author, dad, husband.
Does it all.
What else?
Multi-hyphenate. In this town you have to be.
But he's also a dad dude.
That's
you know,
right.
We have to mention that viral video, dads reacting to Frozen.
That's right. Yes, we that kind of spawned by accident. Quite honestly, I have a group of dudes that come over to my house, you know, every other week, and we kind of kick it around the fire pit and just commiserate over kids and family and wives, and we were in the zeitgeist of all things Frozen. I mean, I'm sure you remember just a few years ago. And so at some point during the night, you know, we started chatting about how we're 40-something dudes and we're all singing the songs out loud in the shower to Frozen, and everybody was in the same boat, you know, just a bunch of guys. We knew all the songs. So one of us said, you know what would be funny? And I think that's how every good idea starts, right? You know what would be funny is if we rewrote the words to one of the Frozen songs and just changed it from a dad's perspective. So we shot a funny little viral video, and honestly the goal was to just send it out to some friends and say, do you resonate with this? Do you get this? And we kind of sat on it until Father's Day weekend of that year. We released it on a Friday before Father's Day weekend, and then we woke up Sunday morning to millions of hits, and our first call was from Fox Television, and then we did the morning talk shows and the night talk shows, and it was just this right place, right time kind of weird thing that took off. And so we were known as the dad dudes or the Frozen dads. And that spawned a viral video company, and it was just kind of crazy.
Well, and also Amazon best-selling books. So let's talk about these, the parenting rules and marriage rules.
Right. Well, I was on the road as a stand-up comic for about 10 years, and my comedy was all about my kids and family, and it was a lot of large platform church events, and it was clean comedy, and it was just spawned out of real-life things that happened in my household. So after the Frozen video, a manager came along and a publishing company came along and said, do you have a book? And like any good actor / liar. I said, how many do you want? Of course I do. Yeah, a book. That's easy. Then I had to write a book. But the first one, which was an Amazon bestseller, was Parenting Rules, the hilarious handbook to surviving parenthood. So it's literally just funny stories about things that happen in my household, and I think it's not uncommon to other people that have small kids. And then the follow-up, following the success of the first book, was Marriage Rules, which I wrote with my wife, who's in the studio with us today. But Marriage Rules, the hilarious handbook to surviving marriage.
I love that. You know, we're talking a lot about being unshakable, and I think that comedy is one of the greatest ways to deal with stuff and release some emotions in a weird way. How else do you find yourself unshakable? What do you do?
Well, I'll underscore that just for a second. Kind of the takeaway from the book is you can't take yourself too seriously. You've got to have humor in a marriage, in any relationship. But in a marriage, you've got to have humor. You've got to be light about things. And the truth of the matter is, things are going to happen no matter what. So in as much as we can, in order to be unshakable, it sounds cliche to say just shake it off, but like you were talking about with your story earlier about getting the phone call yesterday and going, all right, let me exhale a couple of times. We're going to figure this out. I'm still alive. Yeah. All is well. No matter what the roller coaster looks like, let's just get through this together.
So great.
Incredible.
Thank you so much for all your incredible work and bringing humor to it and light to it, and congratulations on all the success.
So what projects are you most excited about right now? What's happening?
I just finished a comedy, a film that I executive produced and starred in called Motivation, which is the most recent thing on my in my brain, because we just wrapped a couple weeks ago. But it's a funny story about a motivational speaker, think Tony Robbins, who dies. I'm giving some of it away, but it's okay. He dies at the beginning of the film, but he leaves his motivational speaking business to his younger, fatter, balder, inept brother who lives in a motorhome, and all of a sudden has this brand and millions of followers and adherents that he has to kind of, tell how to live their life. Yeah. So he has to figure it out all of a sudden. Needless to say, comedy ensues, and so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love that.
That is hilarious.
That'll be funny.
Rad.
There's something so interesting about you and your career and your life. I mean, you've had this incredible sort of historic track record of success in so many different areas and from so many different angles. What would you say has led you or helped you balance all of that and also decide on projects? Because I'd imagine it's sometimes difficult to sort of selectively sift through all the opportunities that are in front of you.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying this because my wife is within me. Trust me. This wasn't canned or pre-planned. Right. But I honestly believe that having a good partner, in whatever that looks like, is the key. Because she is my sounding board, my de facto manager. When projects come along, we sit down, we talk about it together. I live in Calabasas, so we had a bit of a trek to get to Beverly Hills this morning. So we took that time to kind of walk through business. And it's not all business, but in as much as you can, involve your mate in every aspect of your life and go, look, here's some things that are going on personally that we need to look at. Here's some things that are going on business-wise. Because anything that we do as an artist or as a creator, as a filmmaker, you've got filmmakers coming on the show later, but anything that we do inherently affects our personal life. So the businesses outside of, when you get off of the couch in the, 45 minutes from now, you go back to other things outside of this. And so everything affects personal life, but having that good sounding board is invaluable.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, tell everyone where they can find and follow you and get your
My social is Ryan O'Quinn. Instagram is Ryan O'Quinn Official, and Twitter and the website is Ryan O'Quinn, RyanO'Quinn.com.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much,
Ryan.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, LaLa Land.
And this is the Housewives of Hollywood. You might think you know the Housewives, but it's not rosé all day, Pilates, and finding the best nannies. It's women supporting women. And today I have a very special guest, and we might have to change the name just to Housewives of Beverly Hills for Tori Spelling. Tori, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh, anything for you.
We kind of like having her here.
Yeah, she's like, so much good morning, LaLa. We've got things to do.
Room to your set today.
That's right.
I love that.
So tell us about the proper way to actually taste this wine.
Put it in your mouth. I love you. That's my kind of winemaker.
LOL. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here at EverTalk TV, and I'm so excited to share this journey experience with you. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jez Moyer, and we'll see you next time.
Gloria Muniz is in the house. She's all about business, entrepreneur, and beautiful hair, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a mentor for people that are in the, what do you call it, the hair industry? What do you call it exactly?
Right. So I mentor for business for independent hairstylists. And because I am one, and I've been one for 20 plus years, and I'm a salon owner, so I've kind of been and walked a lot of some of the challenges that we kind of run into.
Right.
So
I mean, it's a huge industry, obviously. I mean, the beauty industry, the hair industry, and I think there's a time where people have to understand they have to develop a business. It doesn't matter if you are in real estate and hair or an online coach, we all have to understand business, and business is business. So how do you help them do that? How do you develop them?
So, like, yeah, we know the skills behind the chair, but there's so many of us that don't know the skills in front of the chair and the business side of it. So I just really help them walk through that journey and, you know, overcome some obstacles, because we kind of get stuck in a little bit of a rut sometimes.
So what do you love most about what you do? What's been the most rewarding part?
I think for me, it's been that to be able to see like so many like amazing artists like really overcome some pretty challenging obstacles of just feeling like they were like stuck behind the chair, burnout, you know, and they lost their creativity. So seeing them get that back is really, really rewarding.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
When did you first discover your passion?
In hair so all of it like really, really young.
Yeah.
And then it's just been the last few years with coaching and mentoring hairstylists.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you remember when you first fell in love with hair, like somebody's hair? Was it your own? Was it somebody else's?
I've always, you know, probably just when I was like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, right around there.
And just knew you wanted to do hair?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Did you have a similar moment in terms of the coaching piece?
When I wanted to coach.
Yeah, when you wanted to coach.
you know, because I really got stuck myself in business and like behind the chair, and I lost like, I felt like I was strangling the artist inside of me because I just wasn't doing what was really fueling my creativity.
So what fueled that for you? What was that when you didn't feel stuck behind the chair anymore?
When I realized that it was okay to kind of scale back some, create healthy boundaries, and like have a set schedule and not have to do like every single type of hair, you know, like, because that's not what fueled my creativity.
It's interesting, right? Lots of people struggle with that. I know as a coach early in my career, I kind of wanted to help everybody do everything all the time. And then I was like, this isn't fun for me.
Yeah.
And I'm also not good at certain things. There are just certain areas where I feel excited by doing that kind of work, but I also feel like I have strength in that particular area. Has that been pretty clear for you always, that there was just a certain type of niche that you felt was a sweet spot for you, or is it something you've had to kind of work at to discover?
It was definitely something I had to work at to discover, because I kind of got stuck just kind of doing whatever I could get when I first got out of school. So I definitely had to step back and really kind of reanalyze, like, what does fuel me? Like, what lights me up and makes me feel super creative, you know? And that's what I love. So.
I love that.
Fantastic.
Well, we don't have a lot of time, but wondering, how do they work with you? So they come in, they obviously deal with probably mindset and skill set. What does that look like? Is it online? Is it in person? How do you deal with them?
Yeah, so we do online. Yep, it's all online, and we do a one-on-one coaching once a week. And then I give them tools to work on and, you know, things to do, and then we kind of check back in and we do a coaching session online.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great. Well, tell people where they can find and follow you and work with you.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram. I'm Gloria Loves Beauty, and then Badass Beautiful Business Mentoring .com is my website.
Love the alliteration. We're big on alliteration, aren't we?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more at Good Morning La La Land.
Game changer in the wellness arena. Hi, welcome to Defining Moments. I'm Suzanne Kloss.
Hi guys, my name is Serena Poon, and welcome to my show, Serena Live.
Hello, I'm Lauren Francesca.
I'm Brad Grunberg.
And you're watching
How to Start.
What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
going to be a good morning, La La Land. This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. They're also now on Apple TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La. Grant Feek is in the house. He is the founder and CEO of the best way to buy and sell cars, Tread. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about the business that you've created.
So, in a nutshell, if you're buying or selling a car on the private market on Craigslist, there are certain pros and cons. And if you're buying or selling a car at a dealership, there are certain pros and cons. And we combine the pros of the dealership, which is you get a little bit more assurance, you're probably not going to be defrauded, with the advantage of buying or selling on the private market, which is more value. So we've basically combined those two things and help people transact vehicles directly together while using a lot of our dealer tools.
Wow. How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I started a business that was doing something completely different, and customers hated it. Frankly, so
pivot.
Hard pivot.
Yes, we've definitely done a few pivots. So yeah, we launched around 2013, delivering cars for test drives to people's homes, and we were working with dealers to do that in Seattle only. And everybody had a trade-in to sell, and they were like, "Dude, how do I sell this car? I know I want the Jeep Cherokee and not the Acura MDX, but what do I do about this 3 Series I'm trading in?" And we were like, "Well, go to the dealer," and people weren't getting the best of value, so we started helping them sell their vehicles, and it turned into what it is today.
So how does it work?
So in a nutshell, the customer journey works such that seller enters some information on our website about their vehicle. They click a button. We list it in about 20 different places for sale. The buyer then finds the vehicle through one of these other websites. They come into our ecosystem. They can ask questions, schedule test drives, make offers on the vehicle. And if they want, they can get together for a test drive, the buyer and the seller directly. We typically use FedEx is our partner location.
They deliver cars?
No. So the seller retains possession of the vehicle.
Today or overnight?
Yeah. Fair question. So the seller and the buyer get together at a FedEx directly. And they do a test drive. And if the buyer likes the vehicle and there's a price agreement, the buyer can purchase the vehicle right through the app. We have financing. We have vehicle service contracts. We have gap coverage. All the assurances of quality you could get at a traditional brick and mortar dealership, you can get through our app, and the buyer and the seller save $3,000 to $5,000 on either side of the transaction.
Well, it's good that you've made this such a simple, easy process, because buying and selling cars can actually be very personal. We get attached to our cars. And stressful. What was the first car you ever bought?
So I had a hand-me-down 1992 Jeep Cherokee that was nearly totaled, but not quite totaled.
The crash whip.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a crash whip at some point.
And I drove that for about 5 years. It was stolen, and I subsequently got a Dodge Durango with the insurance check, and that was also stolen.
Wow.
So I went 0 for 2 of my first 2 cars.
Wow. Yeah. Where were you living at the time?
Seattle.
Yes,
well, I was in LA. I was in LA for 7 years, but it was stolen in Seattle.
There might be something spiritual there.
Yeah, something going on. So, La La Land is all about the mindset. So what do you think is obviously it sounds like an incredible business, and we all need to buy and sell cars at some point in time. But what do you think it is that is your mindset? It's that you persevere and become unshakable.
Oh man, I think for entrepreneurship, I guess the one word that I always go back to is resilience. And I really like boxing movies because I think it's a great metaphor for life in some respects. Being able to sort of take hits and keep going and keep iterating and figuring out what's your jam has been something that I've I think been able to do better than some other qualities. That's probably, if I had to pick a superpower. Investors ask, "What's your superpower?" I don't know, but probably I would say resilience is what I'm best at. Also, having outlets, playing an instrument, athletics. I have a dog I'm very, very disturbingly close with. We're spend a lot of time together at the office and at home, and he's like my rock. So certain things like that do help.
That's so cool.
Was there one area of business that you found most challenging, most difficult to even learn or get your head around?
I would say just sort of product market fit. Actually delivering a service that people really want, because it's so easy as an entrepreneur to think, oh, this will be awesome if we build X for Y,
right.
Or
I love it. Why won't everybody else?
Or apply this trend to that industry. Airbnb for mugs or whatever. It's like, well, step back and listen to the customer and see what the customer actually wants, and then try to build that.
That's huge.
So it was hard in the beginning, having like being able to let go of sort of what your baby initially.
Well, congratulations on the success. Tell everyone where they can find and follow.
Yeah, so we're in 9 markets. We're in LA as of a few months ago. It's tred.com. So we're available now in Texas, California, Oregon, Washington, and soon to be Florida.
Wow,
super cool. Love that.
Thank you guys for having me.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and I'm so excited to welcome the show, filmmaker, musician, Blitz. Thank you for being with us today.
Pleasure to be here.
So rumor on the street is, according to Oscar-nominated Ava DuVernay, you are one of the freshest and most inspired directors to watch right now.
That's high praise.
That's
That's, you know.
How did you earn a title like that, the acclaim like that?
I mean, this is my first feature, and we took chances. We took some of the craziest chances. I went to Ghana, where I'm from originally, made a film for a 0 budget, but decided that it needed to compete globally. And we created some of the best images we could, and here we are in LA.
You know, I've read that it's a tapestry of dreams and drama.
Yes.
What is kind of the synopsis and the motive behind this film?
So the story is about 2 brothers who have a jagged past. One of the brothers goes missing on a mining expedition, and his daughter must go on this magical journey to rescue her father. So it becomes kind of adventure, but all from this little girl's eyes, and just how she imagines the real world and the magical world.
Wow, that's incredible. We have a look at the trailer.
The story of my childhood is a strange one. So strange that most people find it impossible to believe.
So beautiful. Wow. So question, we talk about being unshakable and looking at this, such a beautiful piece of art. Clearly you put your heart and soul into it. What is it that usually when we find people are unshakable, it's because they have a major commitment and a why behind what they're doing. What is that for you?
Absolutely. For me, my why has always been representation. Listen, I grew up in Ghana, very, very little representation as it related to cinema. And stories that, this film is really a fable that's like birthed out of my grandmother's stories. I grew up around her. She had these amazing, vivid stories that were mind-blowing, and I was always surprised that none of it had was ever made into a film. And so growing up, I've always said, if I had the chance, let's tell these stories and let's imagine them and let's be represented. So it's actually magical that the film's not only made, but it's coming to Netflix, which is an even crazier mind.
Congratulations, it's huge. I mean, Netflix is the it in LA.
And you're doing a theatrical tour.
We are doing a theatrical, actually starts on Friday. I'll be with Ava in conversation here in LA, and it runs for a whole week.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
How'd you get from Ghana to LA? What was that journey like?
So I moved, I came to college in the US, and I've lived, between the US and Ghana for close to 18 years now. So it's been a back and forth. So it was New York and Accra. So this is kind of like further to the coast now. But it's all, these are stories, and these stories resonate irrespective of cultural background. Our goal in this film was, how do we capture truth? And we know the truth is, irrespective of if you know about the cultural significance of where you are, truth is always truth, and we can always recognize it.
And
love that.
So it is.
Wow. Speaking Erin's language right there.
Truth is truth.
All of our language.
We have no doubt that you will become an icon in this industry. What do you want your legacy to be as a filmmaker, as a musician?
Ken, it just goes back to truth. I'm all about truthful.
This is my new best friend, just so you know, yes.
You see the bracelet she has.
Yeah, I see. No, it's about truthful moments, That's why we engage in any kind of art, is that we capture what people need, and again, irrespective of where they are geographically, they should be able to see it and see their truth in it as well. And so for me, that's all I've thought about ever since I started making music, and it's been a long journey, but I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to celebrate you. The film will be available on Netflix March 31st.
March 31st. It opens here in LA on the Friday, on the 29th. Right? Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey.
Absolutely. I am on all social media platforms at Blitz Ambassador. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can also follow the film at The Burial of Kojo.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's a fire name.
Awesome, yeah.
Memorable.
Hard to forget.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Venezuela endorses Fauna. It's not a non-profit. So I got together, I united with one that has been a non-profit for 11 years. It's called Luchemos por la Vida, Fight for Life. They have an orphanage where many of their kids have HIV. I thank you very, very much for your contribution, because alone we can't do it.
She's such a love.
Yeah, our love and light to Maria Conchita and all the orphanages that she's supporting in Venezuela. It's always great when Hollywood comes together and has a heart and gives back. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jez Moyer, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are all about Thought Thursday. Tara Punter is in the house. She's a PR coaching expert, which we all need to know. We need to get our voice out there. We need to be seen in this digital world. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So Tara, how did you find your voice?
So I think I've always had an interest in the equestrian industry, and it was just about sort of trying to combine that love with my passion, and trying to bring it all together into business. And I've sort of done a lot of work on myself and on my branding, and I've worked with lots of coaches myself, just so that I know that I can portray myself as best I can, in line with my ideal clients.
Right. Speaking of, big shout out to Nick Pigeon. We love you, bringing all the girls in the house today.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what it is what does it mean? Like, so for the people they've never done coaching, they don't know what PR is. How would you explain it to them?
So PR is the relay of information between a business and the consumer. So whether that be through social media, it might be through digital marketing, it might be through print. It's all about making your ideal client be aware of you, just so that obviously the more they see you popping up everywhere, the more they're going to truly understand what you do. So it's all about increasing brand awareness, really.
Love that.
What's the greatest thing you've learned in the journey that's led to your success?
I think it's got to be who you surround yourself with, 100%. You can't succeed without an epic support network. And obviously that's why I'm out here in LA on this amazing business coaching retreat. Yeah. And
that's why you're on the couch with us?
Yeah. It's just having that team around you that are supporting you, they're there to help you all the way. 100% that is how I'm here today.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about that today, being unshakable and being unstoppable. What does it do? How do you do that? How do you get your mind right when something bad happens and you're like, okay?
I think it's always about reassessing. So obviously everything can't go perfectly all the time. It just doesn't happen. But it's just about actually just taking a moment, letting it all sink in, reassessing, perhaps do a meditation, focus the mind, get back into, a good space, and then just reevaluate and reassess and work out how to move forward with it.
I love that. So the difference between like social media and PR, so PR, I mean, in my opinion, PR is really about getting out in traditional print, the big names, I mean, on social media for sure, but it's with the big brands,
yes.
Right? So what would you recommend for somebody out there that, whether they're working with you or whether they're doing whatever, how would they start that process?
So it's always best to work out where your ideal clients would be. So what are your audience reading? So first of all, you need to absolutely know what publications they're reading. And then start buying those publications and having a look through them and just sort of seeing where you could visualize your business. So for example, some magazines might do a monthly new product guide, some might do an entrepreneur of the month, and it's just sort of working where you could envisage your business that is going to work well with your audience.
That makes sense, makes total sense, right?
Well, tell everyone where they can find and follow you and work with you if they're interested in PR.
So I am tarapunterpr.co.uk and I'm at tarapunter on all social.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for all your work.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Beth, if you could just ask yourself and answer some questions.
I'm going to ask myself some questions. You can just kind of sit there and react with your face as I go through.
I'm introducing an Emmy Award-winning host. I better frickin' get this right.
You knocked it out of the park. You did a great job. I'm so good at what I do. Okay.
I hope you're filming right now.
These are the things to take it.
The outtakes are the best.
I know.
We kind of like having her here.
Yeah, she's like, so much Good Morning La La Land. We've got things to do.
Room to your sensitive.
That's right.
I love that.
So tell us about the proper way to actually taste this wine.
Put it in your mouth.
I love you. That's my kind of winemaker.
LOL. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here at EverTalk TV, and I'm so excited to share this journey experience with you. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere. What an incredible week here at EverTalk TV. I'm Jasmine Moyer, and we'll see you next time. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this hashtag Thought Thursday, we are celebrating empowerment with Luciana Lane in the latest issue of Alpha Magazine. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
So congratulations, gorgeous cover, and there's a dual cover front and back,
Yes.
right?
Oh, nice.
All right, so tell us who's gracing the covers this
Okay,
issue.
so this time we have Luke James and we have Ro James.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The images are so powerful.
yeah.
I love the name. I mean, I definitely identify as an alpha, but what does it mean? But what does it mean to you?
From a man's perspective or on a woman?
I don't know. You.
Both.
Okay. When I think about an alpha man, I think about not more so of the masculine side of it, more so of the strategicness, the calculated thought process, the how far he's willing to go and being driven to going to the next level. And kind of the same way with a woman, but the difference between an alpha female and an alpha male, an alpha female can have similar traits to an alpha man, but she's still an omega. She just has her position that's going to be respected top notch as a boss.
Ooh.
I like that. Alpha Omega.
Boss mindset right there. Love that.
Yeah.
So tell us about what your mission is with this magazine.
Well, with the men's issue, I wanted to do something more like a men's empowerment and kind of showcase diversity. But just I think when it comes to the way men are now and the way we're presented, a lot of women are not educated to these days to understand that there's a different type of breed of men, like successful men. And I think a lot of those guys, they get kind of slept on. So it's kind of like giving those guys a spotlight. And for the women's edition, it's more so the same. When it comes to women, it's a little bit more tricky because it's hard for women to really come together and work together. So it's like, we wanted to do something where we could do multiple covers and everybody can get showcased it, but give everybody the same trait and the same respect and stuff like that.
So, Luciana, who have been some of the people who have truly empowered you personally?
Personally? Well, for sure, my children. My children are very, they inspire me every day. You know, my son is 4, his name is Kingston, my daughter's Acacia. So my children are my biggest influence because when you have children, it's like your brain gets to rattling on so many thoughts. So, you know, how far you want to go and the lessons and most importantly, the legacy that you really want to leave behind for them. So my children are, you know, my biggest inspiration. But I think I'm inspired by people. You know, I like to see people happy. It's all about good vibes, good energy. And I just think that the vibration from energy kind of just flows. So, you know, I could meet a person that just has a positive mindset and they might inspire me to make my next article, you know, so it's similar like that.
Have you always been that way, focused on positivity, or was there a moment in time where you shifted from something that was real hard and dramatic and negative to a positive attitude?
Well, you know what, I have to thank my grandmother for that. I've always been a positive individual. Yeah. I'm not really easily influenced. So I've always been pretty focused, even for my social medias. I don't really post negative content, so yeah, I'm a very positive person.
We're gonna be friends, man. I like that. I can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. You know, from a spiritual perspective, Alpha is like what is the consciousness that decides, that creates, and then Omega is what is created and it comes back in like a flow, right?
Right.
And you know, I think it's really important to showcase, and I'm curious to know how you're picking your people. Like, are these people? You know, for me, it's like. For me, the great alphas are the ones that are creating and creating harmony, creating innovation, creating things that have not been created, but are also always for the highest good. Right. How are you picking your people? You know what I mean?
Oh, honestly, it was so crazy because I'll say this: when I started to do the women's edition, it wasn't going to be a women's empowerment magazine. It was going to just be a high fashion magazine. And I was having a conversation with my grandmother, and we were talking about it. And you know, my family was basically saying, you know, take something that's different. You know, everybody's got a fashion magazine. Have something that has value that can, you know, represent your legacy. So the women's empowerment for me was like really important because I wanted to showcase women of all ages, different shades, different tones, and bringing them together where it's supposed to be a support group. And like, you know, when it comes to, let's say you meet a woman that is not empowerment, and there are women that are around her, I feel like instead of putting her down, we should like kind of encourage her and uplift her and like put her in front of those type of women. So if I put women in my magazine that don't represent women's empowerment, being around women who are, it's kind of like moving in the right direction. So that's what I want to do.
So tell everyone where they can get the latest issue of Alpha.
Oh, you guys can get it from alphamagazines.com. We're doing it exclusively there. I want to touch, you know, I'm going to touch more into like children soon. You know, kind of getting into those things soon, but we got a lot of big plans. You know, a big media thing going on. So yeah, I definitely want to. It's a team. It's basically, it's not just me. It's a team. I got my designer, editor, you know, Ruben Stunner. We have our headquarters in Houston. I got my COO, Brian Frost. I got Elise Kirkland. She's my CFO. I mean, I have a full-fledged team. So like. It's really a chain command. So yes.
We got a bunch of alphas. Okay. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to be included and to have such an exclusive interview. Thank you for the opportunity. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow on Good Morning La La Land. Inspiration and thought-provoking conversations on positivity, wellness, Insta-fame, and empowerment. All while celebrating the trials and triumphs of those who are truly igniting a change in the world.
I was really surprised and I was really thankful for how well it was received.
That's where your supernatural powers come on. That's where the magic happens. That's where you live heaven on earth.
I was left to research everything on my own because I'm like, nothing else outside of me is helping me right now. I have to figure this out.
When we want folks to be good teammates or to be leaders, you confront behavior, you don't confront personalities.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars. New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop.
We have a universal sign to say it's okay to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like the universe is saying, please chill out a little bit, you know? So
Right.
we need to listen to that.
Jessalyn, you are absolutely beautiful, and you don't have to try at all. It's like I walked in this morning, you're the first person I met, I went, she is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. And
Tell me more.
As you said, pick up the phone, like turn that text, before you turn it into a date, let's turn it into a phone call.
These talk shows are hosted by your favorite television personalities, celebrity entrepreneurs, and social media superstars.
New binge-worthy content is added daily with exclusive access to featured products, services, and experiences available to you in the Ever Shop. EverTalk is #community powered, and we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and I'm so excited to welcome Michelle L'Amour to the show. She is an international burlesque star and really helping us embrace our sexy, also through comedy, right?
Also, to just say that you have the #Pussy Guru. I just had to say that. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but I was like on the notes this morning. I was like, okay, let's meet this girl.
Yes, it's my new tagline, gifted to me by Playboy.com. I was very excited when that came out.
Oh, one can only imagine. So what was your journey, though, your personal journey to becoming a burlesque star?
Yeah, well, you know, it was kind of an accident. I actually went to school for finance, and then I decided that that was very boring.
Wow.
And, you know, taking off my clothes was much more fun. So I started doing burlesque kind of by accident. I was asked to do a burlesque show, and I said yes, because that's what you do, you say yes. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that this is what I was meant to do, and had been practicing my whole life without knowing it.
Right.
You know, behind closed doors.
Were you born naturally confident and empowered?
How
did you develop that for yourself?
No, I was very, very shy. I mean, to the point where, you know, ordering at a restaurant was terrifying for me because I had to talk to a stranger.
I find that so hard to believe for like the world's most naked woman.
Right.
You're actually shy.
But so how do we transition? Because I mean, like Playboy and all this, sometimes we have a stigma around that, the objectifying and, you know, maybe not so great to totally being expressed in our nakedness and in our expression.
Yeah.
How have you made that shift?
Yeah, so I think it's a matter of ownership and that confidence, right? So it is a practice to get here and to really own your power and be empowered. And I think for what I do and what my goal is to show that, you know, we can be all things. We can be sexual beings, and we can be intelligent. Those don't have to be separate, especially for women. Yeah. So that's very important to me.
Mm-hmm. So anything specific that allowed you to cultivate that ability to sort of embrace it all? Was there a practice? Was there a book? Was there a teacher? Was there anything like that? Or was it just a sort of natural, organic evolution of who you were?
Well, you know, looking back, I can kind of pinpoint some things, but it was more of an organic growth and nothing that I really thought like, oh, I'm going to grow up and be a professional naked lady. Yeah. But you know, you go through things as a kid, and actually, you know, my hair gets a lot of attention, but I actually have alopecia, and so that's an autoimmune disease that causes your hair to fall out. So as a woman is very challenging to deal with. So I definitely had to embrace that confidence and move past, you know, the facade, right? Like I couldn't hide behind anything. So it forced me to come out and develop all these other aspects of myself, and I've become this. So now I'm fully embracing it. I hid it for a long time, but I'm out.
Speaking of not being able to hide, you've been everywhere. So talk to us a little bit about some of the highlights from your career so far.
I mean, I won the title of Miss Exotic World in 2005,
Wow.
which is kind of like the World Series of burlesque. So I've traveled the world performing and teaching as well. I ran a burlesque school in Chicago, and now I'm here in LA, and I love it so much.
And you're doing shows here in LA too. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, so a show that I'm producing is called Pretty Funny, which is stand-up comedy and burlesque. And I just had a show last night.
That would be me. I'd be really hilarious to be cracking up. I'd be falling down.
I don't tell the jokes. we hire professionals for that. But yeah, it's super fun. And it's a great mix. So You can check that out. The next one is April 17th, but I also perform in other shows throughout town as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'd be like Jamie Lee Curtis when she's holding on to that thing and she falls off. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that women, we are empowered, we find our sexuality, but we don't necessarily need to sleep around. You can still be expressed with and just be whatever that is for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you can sleep around too if you want.
Yeah, you do you.
Because that's the whole point. Like, we have our own agency and we can do whatever is right for us, you know? So.
Well, you go, girl.
Thank you.
Tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
You can find me on Instagram at Michelle Lamore or michellelamore.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, La La Land.
I'm Francesca.
I'm Brad Grunberg.
And you're watching
How to Start.
What is pussy poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.
This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. They're also now on Apple TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Look at this couch right now, packed, unbelievable, full of love and inspiration. And so here on Thought Thursday, really the question of the day is, what's the one thing or maybe one person that allows you to feel most inspired or that you tap into your sort of innate creativity?
Ooh, great question. Rob McOfficial.
My grandmother.
Ah.
Yeah.
My wife and kids.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
My husband.
The same, my husband.
Yeah.
My children.
My husband and my kids.
Yeah. You see what happens there? One person says mom or brother or sister, and it's like every stop, you gotta say family.
I take responsibility.
That's right. They'll kill you.
Well, if you are in LA, be sure to follow along. Blitz is going to be premiering here at the LaLa this Friday, the burial of Kojo. Thank you all so much for being with us. Be sure to get the latest issue of Alpha Magazine. Check out Pretty Funny. And we are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these replays are available on EverTalk TV, now downloadable on Apple TV.
That's right. We are waking up the world together. You guys have a wonderful day and become unshakable.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.